Welcome back once again to the Robaer Report. Tonight is Monday night. Once again, it's Monday night. Today is September 19th. And I want to give a shout out to one of my good friends from back in the day. Actually, yeah, she was one of my good friends. Her name is Emily. Her birthday is today. I always remember this day because it's September and that was one of her favorite songs. So I remember September 19th as her birthday. So happy birthday, Emily. I may have a few more friends whose birthdays are this week or around that time. May need to call some of them and invite them onto the show. Sing them happy birthday, make it live. But once again, this is the Robaer Report here on Black USA News, here on the Robaer Report channel. And the Black USA News is on Facebook and YouTube. The Robaer Report is on YouTube. And usually, well, sometimes I have a guest. Today, I do not have a guest. But I thank you all for those of you all who are tuning in. Uh, Title of my show today is, and this will be a monologue type broadcast, victims of violent crimes. Make sure that's not victims of violent crimes. That's what I put. Victims of violent crimes. This one is an important one to me. We hear about it all the time, but it actually happened to me last night, about 22 hours ago. I was a victim of a carjacking in Washington D.C., and I had a gun pointed right in my face, and I wasn't scared. I actually, I want to say I talked to the person who had the gun in my face, but I did. We were human. They talked to me, told me, gave me some directions. I followed the directions. I even asked them a question. Can I have? Well, I'll say I asked them a question because there's still an investigation going on. Hopefully, this investigation works out. Um, yeah, and it's pretty wild. One thing that I'm going to be straight up about is, being a victim of a violent crime is one thing, but and this is no offense to this is my I'll say this is no offense to law enforcement. I was actually so happy that they showed up on the scene when they did. Um, but it's an entirely different process when you're dealing with the law enforcement because you have to keep repeating your story and you have to make sure that what you're saying is correct because the story can get switched real quick. Your story can get switched from what actually happened in a matter of moments as soon as you pick up the phone, assuming you have a phone in that moment, and you reach out to 911 emergency or 311 or wherever phone number you're calling. Because one of the first steps is you're talking to a dispatcher. And the more hysterical you may be in that moment talking to the dispatcher, even if you're calm, cool, and collected, your story can be twisted because they're writing fast with an attempt to get information as fast as possible to distribute to whatever officers, how they do it. I don't know. I'm not in that process. I don't know the science behind it. But the dispatcher has to get information from you to give to officers for when they arrive on the scene. Now, my situation wasn't that rough, but I do see how, I'll be straight up. I do see how when law enforcement arrives on the scene to certain crimes or certain calls, do see how things can get out of hand real quick. Because law enforcement has a blurb of what happened based off of what was written in the system. And if you are hysterical, even if you're calm, cool, and collected, things can go sideways, or they can go great on the scene of an incident. That wasn't the case with me, but I will say I bring that up because that was the first point of contact. Uh, that I'm happy. Thankfully, there were some people in the environment at 10 o'clock at night, 10, 30, whatever time it was, who just happened to be out, two ladies walking their dogs, and happily they were there to 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 at least listen to me as I told them, hey, I just got my car taken. Now they could have kept walking as if this guy is not being honest, or we're intimidated by him at this time of night, asking us to make a phone call. But I guess my words were convincing enough to convict them to at least find me a phone in that moment and make a phone call to law enforcement. I'm thankful to those ladies. Thankful to the officers on the scene, the lieutenants, detective. I don't know the other designations for the other officers, but uh, thankfully I survived. It was some. It was a hand. It was something. I don't want to lay out too many to say too much because I don't know what the investigation looks like, but I just know that I was a victim of a violent crime, and I never overlooked violent crimes. I'm pretty much aware of my surroundings, yet there are times when even the most aware can be caught off guard, and that's the situation that I was in last night. Is I didn't know that a carjacking was about to take place. There was no type of way for me to know that what appeared to be young males were going to rob me. A young male. I won't say young males. It was one person who, I believe, it was one person who approached me. Um, there was no way that I could have known that I would be the subject of a violent crime, a victim. I don't like that term, but hey, I literally am a victim of a violent crime. As I talk to law enforcement today, um, just talking to me about what that means, and I realized I was a victim. I am a victim, and let me put up the banner. Sorry, I got to talking about my story. There is one banner. I myself, I seek counseling for uh, some uh, child custody issues that I dealt with, and so I already see a counselor every 2 weeks. Just just to keep my head clear about some things. And PEBTS, I believe this is the Baltimore number for if you seeking mental health uh, solutions. Um, Please like and share on Facebook, subscribe and give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Thank you. Uh, Visit blackusa.news, the voice of our people, to be a guest or if you have a show idea, email editor at blackusa.news. And speaking of that, thanks to Donnie. Donnie and I had a consult a couple weeks ago, and he asked what I would like to accept being editor of Black USA News, the online publication. I chose to do so, and I made me an initial topic, introduction piece last couple of days ago. So I'm thankful for that. Thankful that he gave me this opportunity. I'll be writing about this victims of violent crime because I am a victim of violent crime, and it doesn't feel good, but I'm not afraid. They have some things that I wish that could be changed, but they can't. So I gotta like work around. I'm speaking in a lot of blase terms right now because I don't want to get too bogged down into the weeds. But um, I do want to say that I'm thankful to be alive. I don't think that the young person, because I assume they were a young person, I don't think that they were open to murdering me last night. And I'm using, real strong phrases. I don't think they were open to that. I can see in their eyes that they wasn't their mission. Their mission was to hit a lick, hit a lick. And so they hit a lick last night and it got my vehicle. Just paid it off. I just paid the vehicle off, man. Just paid the vehicle off. Shout out to breadcorn.org. I just paid the vehicle off a few months ago. I have no more car note. Not one piece of car note. And hopefully they can find my vehicle so that I don't have to go back to having a car note. Because that, was a long few years, and I was so happy to be out of that uh, uh, having to pay car notes. But we shall see. Um, so yeah, so I'm good and fine. Like I said, I'm gonna see. I was looking for the mental health counseling stroll to put on the show, but I'll find it. But it's best to seek mental health treatment, in particular times like this. Um, as I was talking to one of the officers, he did mention there's a victim of violent crime compensation. I believe that's what he said. It's in Washington D.C. I don't know if it's in every city, but this thing is real, man. Times are tough. My car isn't the best, but I love my Toyota, but it's not a Lamborghini. And I was always under the assumption that who wants my Toyota Camry that needs a wash? But hey, now that I think about it, that Toyota Camry was pretty nice. Pretty nice. I look forward to seeing you again one day, Toyota Camry. I love you. I love you. Robaer Washington, love that car. Not in love with it, but it was just happy. I've been had good times with it over the last few years. Um, but for those of you, even if there are some people in the audience, I see one person watching right now. If you know somebody who's a victim of a violent crime, tell them to pop on, man. I can see if I can bring them in here, leave them a comment. Tell them to leave a comment. I can possibly send them a link. They can come and talk. Um, but yeah, it was real traumatic, man. I was like I say, I'll go back. I wasn't scared. I didn't think that the person was going to murder me. They didn't have it in their eyes. I did look them in their eyes. I'm not trying to be an overly controlling male, trying to poke my chest out at a gun. No, it was just a human being approached me with a life-threatening utensil. And I had no other choice but to look him in the eye. I wasn't going to scream, yell, cry, jump in the other part of the car, say, "Don't kill me." No, because his hand was on the trigger. Whether the gun was real or not, I don't know. But I didn't want to. The last sound that I heard was to be a banging sound, and who knows what would have been the end result after that. So, but I did look in his eyeballs. He didn't have murder in his eyes. I don't even know what murder in someone's eyes looks like, but his eyes wasn't hell bent on destruction. His eyes were bent on do as I say and bye. And so I did as the young person. I assume he was young. He had a young person's voice. He wasn't all heavy and deep like a fully, I guess, grown man. It was a young person. And where if young man, if you find this young woman, I assume it was a man, a young boy. I don't know. It's 2022, man. Who knows what the heck is going on out here? But if you're watching this, you ever see it, hey man, look, thanks. You open my eyes to some things that nobody gives a fuck about you out here. I'll repeat that. Nobody don't give a fuck about you. I ain't gonna say nobody, but the large majority of people don't because they're involved in systems. And people in systems can only care about themselves and the system because they do not know. And it's just my assumption I'm making here. You're involved in a system. You're working for a system. You have tasks that you have to complete. A, B, dun, 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 dot, 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 dot. And when a person comes and they're operating outside of that system, then it's like, okay, well, I understand what's happening, but I got to get back to my system. Dot, dot, dot. You got a gun pulled on you. Psh. Quietness. Are you okay? Okay, awesome. Okay. All right, let's continue with the business. And that has been my day that for the last 24 hours. Some people cared. Some people care. I'm not looking for a hug. I hadn't cried. I'm not even worried about that. As I said, I was not fearful in the moment. And also, I know I got God on my side. I'm a human being. Somebody left a message. Let me see what's happening. Somebody's watching. I'm a survivor of an extremely violent attack. We need more people who care. Facebook user. Hey, Facebook user, I don't know if you can see a private chat, but I'll send you a link, man, if you want to get on and talk. It has Facebook user, doesn't have a picture. But I'm a survivor of a extremely violent attack. Hell, me too. And I was talking to law enforcement. This is Washington D.C. Um, and I'm glad you are still here. Thank you so much, Facebook user. I'm glad I'm still here too. Talking to law enforcement, and one of the ladies was just like, "Dude, you're the victim of a violent attack." I'm like, "What?" It registered, but because I'm happy to be out of that problem, it registered, but it didn't register. But as I sat back over the course of this day, and that's probably tons of research in psychiatry, uh, psychology, mental health therapy, social work. I don't know. Hell, I went the social science route, sociology route, community development, and TV production. So I didn't really get into that those modes of thinking or studying. But I do know that I just do know how I feel, and I do know that at some point I will be having to mourn this issue. Hopefully sooner than later, but I want to work through the problem first. But I'll tell you what though. So I'm talking about something that's very traumatic. Um, One of the things that really helped was me understanding logistics. Um, and so I called my phone company because they track. Well, it's not my phone company. I get a notification on my phone from Google. Um, Find my location or something like that. Find my data. It's something. But they send me monthly messages. Let me see. Somebody. They are complementary systems. Okay, awesome. That's right. I assume that you're referencing the psychiatry, social work, and psychology. If I'm incorrect in my assumption, please let me know. But I thank you for uh, uh, writing comments and helping me move this conversation forward. Um, but I called my phone company, and they weren't able to assist me. But they weren't able to assist me overtly. Uh, but I stressed the issue, and then I got some assistance. I was told how to find that data that I was seeking, and lo and behold, I went to Google. I had to get a new phone. Luckily, I had another phone that was a brand new phone in my residence, and a SIM card that was identical to the one that was taken. So I just made the phone call. First of all, I came home and got me a nap. I had to get a nap. I mean, I was beat down. I was up a good part of the night. Uh, but I was able to transition my phone over. So I was able to make some phone calls, send out some emails, at least started to get the ball rolling on this healing, healing in the point in the point role of our healing from the perspective. I want my vehicle back, so I can be able to move around. 'Cause right now, it looks like I'm gonna be renting up until things change. Um, uh, so Washington D.C. So yeah, I'll get to that part next about the victims of crime victims of crime compensation. So that'll be next before our time is over here. And to you all. Thanks to you all for who have stayed tuned to the broadcast. Also, I went on find my location or something like that. I put it in Google, typed in my email address that's attached to my phone, and boom, I could track my phone's movements. Blew me away. I always known that it was possible to do that. I have an Android. A lot of people have what's an Apple? I need to get an Apple iPhone. But I never really just thought about the importance of that. You can track your phone's movement. It's not the movement of the vehicle, but it's the movement of the phone. the movement of the vehicle. I called the company that uh, created my vehicle. I had my car note with. Give me a drink of water. They weren't able to assist me because my phone didn't have a tracker. And so that's another point that I can hop on real quick. Having a tracker on your car. Um, but Google was able to assist me in finding the location of my phone, but I still don't have it. But it tracked the movement, blew me away because I was able to see movement over time from my phone, and that movement was not necessarily in the car. So somebody, from what I saw in the data, had my phone on their person. That is, I don't understand that. If you just committed a violent act, why would you keep a phone on your person? What can you do with it? Uh, that's some nigga shit. What the fuck? And for those who may catch this broadcast, like Robaer, why are you using the language? I won't even go what my thought logic would be in talking to you. But yeah, what the fuck? Why would you steal something and then like that doesn't even register properly? But we're dealing with some other people who may be dealing with trauma. But so that's one side. The other one is victims of crime compensation. I don't even know what that's about, but I'm definitely looking forward to learning what it's about. Um, as I was told today that I possibly be getting an email about this from law enforcement. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I can share what that means, what that looks like. Um, uh, Please like and share on Facebook. 60 Minutes in Black America. That's one of the shows on our network. Just wanted to put that out there. Um, but yeah, I wanted to talk about that because I didn't know that was even possible. Uh, victims of victims of victims of crimes, victims of violent crimes compensation. So these towns, because I have thought about it, because when there's grape, I'll say grape. I'll say the term grape. When there's grape or assaults of the sex form, or there's domestic violence, there are financial packages. I'll say that are available to those victims. But I never really thought about it from the victims of violent crimes. If you are held up at gunpoint or you're carjacked, because I didn't. Who thinks about themselves in that light? We, as most individuals, go out of their way to be safe, but sometimes you just may not be able to go far enough to be safe. Um, that was one other topic that came to me, and I cannot think of it. But I will think of it in a few seconds. Hopefully, it comes back to my memory. Let me pull back up these banners. Let me pull back up the banner because we have to give our advertising. Those who decide to advertise the network, we have to give them their recognition in their just dues. I think that's the term. Um, let's see. But yeah, so today's stream is just me. I'm kind of venting right now. This happened last night. I had a day planner that I had full of things the next literal 14 days. And that's, I can get the phone back, I can get a car back, but I can't get my time back. And I know some of the things I have to do, but I don't know everything that I need to do over the next 2 weeks off the top of my head. And I'm really sad about that. Not about it. I want to minimize what happened, but I am saying that my time is very valuable. And it looks like I'm experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties with my broadcast. It's moving kind of slow. Um, but yeah, That's my bro- for the day. There was one other topic that I was going to bring up, but uh, we'll get to it. I will watch the broadcast and I'll discuss that. Uh, so thank you so much for taking the time to view this broadcast today.